parts of the manufacturing overseas.
8 years ago, we knew those areas had to be focused upon. Unfortunately, the government at the time chose to abolish it. I'm glad that the pandemic has exposed this failure to support manufacturing, and if they want to return support for manufacturing by identifying areas that were identified by the former Labor government, of course Labor will support that. We're glad that they've decided to elevate the rhetoric. I'm glad they've articulated the plan today, because it's all but identical to Labor's initiative that was operating. And so we will support it in principle, but we'd like to see the government withdraw the legislation currently before the Parliament to rip $1.8 billion from the R&D incentives scheme. Otherwise, this is a hollow announcement today. It's clear, it's axiomatic, empirical evidence concludes that for every dollar we invest in research and development, we get much greater dividends to our economy, to jobs. It allows for companies to adapt, to innovate. It allows us to commercialise those innovations in a way that will grow this nation's standing. It will allow for us to fill gaps in supply chains by having more innovative and companies that are more nimble. And so right at this moment, we have the private sector investment in R&D falling because of the recession. We have the higher education stream almost disappearing because of the overseas students situation not coming in and not providing revenue for higher education. So that means that area of R&D is falling. And we have a government plan to cut $1.8 billion. That's why we're so strongly opposed to that cut. And we would welcome the almighty backflip by Scott Morrison and the Treasurer, if the Treasurer stands up next Tuesday and says we will not continue with this $1.8 billion cut to R&D. We would support that.
Western Australia has recorded one new case of COVID-19.